Hello YouTube, this is Reyake, aka Ninja Pin. Thank you for dropping by. You're welcome here. Today we're gonna do this. I'm an Android user. I don't have no money. I don't have no iPhone or Procreate app. Today we're gonna try to do this using Autodesk Sketchbook mobile app. We're gonna try to finish everything within less than 15 minutes. If you can stick around until the end, I would really appreciate it. Oh, if you can like or subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it as well. Thank you.
Okay, the countdown is up. 15 minutes. I'm gonna try to do this digital artwork. I have my palette here. We're gonna use the darkest shade of blue from the palette to create a platform. We're using the inking pen brush to do this. This could get a little boring at the start, but we're gonna work on the subject of our drawing. I'm creating two hikers here up in the mountain to give a sense of perspective. I'll be creating a couple, a guy and a gal. Most of the time artists would usually take their time on the main subject of their drawing. Right now what we're trying to do here is to spend a little time on the subject, because mainly it's just a silhouette of two people. You still have the option to make it as detailed as possible. It's all up to you if you get the time. Point I'm making here is that this is the main subject, but we're not taking too much time on this one. I'm gonna be working more on the backdrop, the mountains and the trees in the background. Still, even though it's just a silhouette, I still think that this is the two couple, the mountaineers, the hikers, and they are still the main subject of this drawing. Right now I'm using the autofill to fill out the rest of the couple and the platform. Make sure everything is closed so it doesn't spread. These are all done in a single layer because it's just one color for all of them. Right now I'm still using the inking pen, but instead of a color, as you can see there, I use a transparent background to use it as an eraser for the details of the couple. I'm working on the background now. The three colors in the second row, a shade of pink, orange and yellow for the background. I've used an inking pen to create two lines and then fill them out. The rest of the colors, the pink at the bottom, the yellow at the top. This is very fulfilling. I use a smudge tool to create a gradient for those three colors. Again, this is a second layer, a different layer. As you can see, we're moving a little fast here. Right now I'm using another brush for the trees. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna create 4 layers. We're gonna have 4 layers of trees. I'm gonna use these shades from the second and third raw from the palette. Right now I'm just increasing the size of the brush to 50. The closest trees to the viewers will have a bigger brush. As you can see right now we have at 32, and there you go, at the 50. All you gotta do is stroke them down. It'll give the impression of a tree. So just fill out the right side, right part. Okay, I'm moving on to the second layer, to the second color or shade for the trees. As you can see, this layer is behind the first one, the darker one. So As you can see, it's so much easier to create a trees from this one. It is also very important to create each of the layers, each of those trees in 4 different layers, so we can shade them separately. Moving on, 3rd layer, 3rd shade of purple for the 3rd layer of trees. The farther it is, the smaller the brush. I've decreased the size of the brush, and because of that, it'll require you to create more trees in between. We're now down to the size 30. This is the last layer for those trees. Last. This is so much smaller size for the brush, and it's that 3rd color on the 3rd row from the palette, the lightest of the purple shade for these trees. This is the last one. As you can see, it gives that impression of distance. Those trees are way farther from the viewer. 4 layers, 4 different trees. Right now we're gonna be moving on to the mountains. There are, going back to the inking pen, it'll be the 3rd row from the top on the palette. We'll be using two shades of pink and purple for the mountains. We've created 2 different layers for the mountains. So all you gotta do is, doesn't have to be perfect. It's important to have those little curves to make it look a little realistic rather than just have a straight line. Because we have a portrait canvas here, only 2 sets of mountains, and fill out the rest of them. So as you can see, it's 1 layer. I'm gonna use the shade of purple for the next layer. It's on top of the other layer for the mountain. We're gonna do the same thing, but this time this will show the side of the mountain that is closer to the viewer. This is also a shade of purple, but it's different from the ones that we've used for the trees, as you can see. And then we're just gonna make sure everything is closed for that layer and then fill them out. Use the autofill tool. I went back to the inking pen to fix some details for the mountains. Make sure you're on the right layer. As you can see, I'm on the pink one. And then I made the background visible again. I've used the transform tool for that particular layer, the background layer, so I can move and reshape it to how I want it. You can easily increase the size of it, but what I'm working on here is where to position the gradient. Make the mountains, I have to lower the orange and the yellow part so the mountains will be much visible. That is something you can easily do with the transform tool for that particular layer. I created a new layer here for the sun. So using I'm gonna use the first color in the first row of the palette, shade of pink, very light pink. I use a circle line for the sun. And then I'm gonna use the fill tool, fill the rest of the sun with pink. As you can see, we don't have any outlines or line works here. There's no outline for the elements, make it more realistic. We're gonna add some texture. This is the first time we'll be using texture for this. What I did is I used a selection tool to select the sun and then work the texture brush, the lower part of the sun. Here we're gonna use the magic wand again from the selection tool. Now from that one we're gonna use the magic wand to select the side of the mountain that is closest to us, and then I've used a soft airbrush to create the mist. I've used a white color. It's not included in the palette, but as you can see we have the soft brush. Then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna select the background and then use the soft airbrush tool again, white, to create the mist behind the mountains. I'm gonna use the soft brush as well to select the farthest layer for the trees, create that mist, and then the second one. Then we're gonna select the third layer for the trees that is closer to the viewers and create the mist. And we're not gonna do the mist for the closest set of trees. I've used the color picker tool and the inking pen. So this is the dark blue, same color with the silhouette, to create this little bird here, lone bird, looks like an eagle. And we're almost done here. Last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use the soft airbrush again. I'm gonna select white for the color and create some clouds right underneath these, just to give a little something more aside from the gradient of the sky. So just play around with the size of the brush and then decrease it, give it a pointy. From here there's 2.5 more minutes left, but we're done. So pretty much this digital art is done. Less than 15 minutes. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it.